Well, hello everyone. Another shave video for Michael from the Big Shave, beautiful North Carolina. Temperatures are dropping. Seems like winter is sort of around the corner, a bite in the air. I'm going to be doing a shave today with a couple new products, some that are samples that were sent to me and some things that I've recently purchased. I'm going to be using a new product number one, which is Vitos pre-shave. Svein seems to like this quite a bit. I've been trying this as well. Definitely a very different product than the Floyd pre-shave. As you can see, this is a cream. Has a nice menthol and eucalyptus smell to it. Goes on, bit of a warming feeling to it. I'm gonna go ahead and wet my face and apply some of that, and then I'll keep talking about the rest of the product. So just bear with me for just a moment, please. This pre-shave is definitely, obviously, very different in nature than the Floyd pre-shave oil. I'm not really exactly sure how much you're supposed to use. I've just been using enough to just lightly cover. Yep, you can smell that a little bit. This reminds me a little bit, and certainly not in a bad way at all, in terms of smell, of Vicks Vapor Row with a little bit of some other bit of pine maybe, or I definitely smell eucalyptus. So just rub that in. There we go. Well, I hope everyone is doing well out there. This has been an interesting week at work. It's getting close to the end of the year. There's some pretty major bodies of work that have got to get done by the end of the year, and we are, of course, as always, once again, racing to the finish. But things are looking pretty good. Alright, I'm going to also be using shave soap sample that was provided to me by Dustin Gulley. He sent me two, Figaro and the Habana. Paul Bombino's already used the Habana cream, and I'm going to be doing the same. I'm just going to smear that, just apply that to my face. I'm going to be face lathering in a moment. I have to tell Dustin, I think actually in the end he was right about that Figaro. That may well be a poor man's cella, but he described it as finicky, and I would have to say that's probably right. I've lathered with it 4 times, I think. I had a very good lather the first time, and then the subsequent 3 just were not up to snuff. I could not get a good, thick, easy lather. I've shaved with this twice, I think, with the Habana, and I think in the end, even though this is not my preferred smell, the scent is not what I'm looking for, I still think this may lather better in the end. Alright, obviously still too dry, but not to worry, guys, as always. A little bit of water. I have no idea what having the pre-shave on in that quantity is supposed to do or help with the lather, but you can definitely still feel it tingling below the lather. That does feel nice and refreshing. All right, I think a little more water. There we go. Both of these creams may very well benefit more from bowl lathering than face lathering, but I just don't bowl lather at all, so if it doesn't work for face lathering, well, you know what, then I guess I'll move on to the next one. There we go. Alright. So what I'm going to be shaving with today is a razor that I just purchased. Paul shaved with one of these as well, which was the twist to open version of the RazoRock line. This is the Jaws line, the Jaws version, which is an open comb. It's my first open comb. I have really no idea what to expect, or really what the major difference is between open and safety bar or closed comb. I will say, number one, this has a very long screw on the head. So I'm not sure if that would impact, for example, if you had to try to switch out with another handle, if you wanted to use one of the Bulldog handles or maybe an Icon handle or something like that. I don't know that they would fit because that screw is quite long. I'm going to go for the Voshkod brand new blade. I've shaved in this with a Gillette Blue and Astra. I think that's it. Let me just put on. Yeah, this is one of the things where you're screwing and screwing and screwing and screwing. There's no need for a joke right there. It just stands on its own. All right, brand new blade in there. All right. So like I said, I've never shaved with an open comb before. Really no idea what to expect when I got this. And I think if I have to title this shave, I'm probably going to say, this is danger close. Because the first time I shaved with this, the first pass, like, whoa. That seemed, just on the sound of that first. So, all right, this is way more aggressive than the other razors I'm using. Two days of growth. What I've learned so far with this razor is, one, it's pretty heavy. And actually, it's really well made for the price. I'm really quite impressed, actually. This is not an expensive razor at all, but still feels really well made. Doesn't feel tinny or light. Definitely pretty aggressive. I don't know if you can see. There's quite a bit of blade exposure in there. My first shave with this was slow. And a little nerve-wracking because I realized after the first cheek that, okay, this was not like the other razors I've been using. And I'm not exactly sure what the open comb is doing. If it's either adding or really not making a difference, but I can definitely see that with a thick beard, or maybe many days growth, this seems like this would be a good non-clogging razor. First nick I got with this, day one, was when I put it to my face, right under there. Just still not quite aware of how much blade is sticking out. All right, that's pass number one. Trying to go a little bit quicker than usual. For the pre-shave, the Vitos pre-shave, it's not like the oil at all. I don't think it leaves any really additional layer after the fact. So I think after that first pass, the pre-shave, the benefit of that pre-shave may well be done. You can also see this is what happened to me with the Figaro shave cream as well. Is that I don't know that for face lathering, I'm going to get enough. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more cream. Just right to the brush. Because this razor is not something you want to be shaving with without adequate lather. I will say that. You want a good, slick layer to go against because of the blade exposure. I keep saying exposure, but exposure. Alright, let's do a little bit of talking about Sinterklaas, so the Dutch tradition of St. Nicholas. First of all, thanks again to Danny van Rooyen for that fantastic box of stuff. Some of that candy is already gone. Those 12 waffles clearly disappeared, you know, day 2. Paper noted, or the space noted, those will be going pretty soon too. So, but for the rest of you, for Sinterklaas, Sinterklaas is the St. Nicholas holidays, 5th of December. And this is sort of the different Christmas tradition for the Netherlands, really for a number of European countries, but in Holland it starts off with Sinterklaas showing up on a boat from Spain, where he apparently normally lives. And he is accompanied by his helpers, who are all Spanish Moors, Africans from the north of Africa, who are his helpers, although a helper might be a friendly term. And normally he rides on a horse through the city in a parade, tossing candy to the children. The Zwarte Pieten, his Moorish helpers, are walking through the crowds as well, throwing out pepernoten, those cookies and candy. And that night, the night of the 5th, you leave your shoe out by the chimney, and Sinterklaas will come and leave you stuff in your shoe. Candy and some little toys. A really fun tradition. But there's an additional part of this which was really kind of special in some ways. And it amounts to a secret Santa thing that we would do in school. So you would pick a person's name from a hat. You didn't know who had you, but you had somebody. And the objective was to buy them a present. All right, a little more cream. Just right on the brush. You'd buy that person a present, but you wouldn't give them the present. What you had to do was you had to make something around that present. You had to make it into some kind of craft or some kind of an object, a thing, something, and also had to write a poem that was about the person and about the present, but in some kind of code so that it wasn't obvious what it was. So, you know, you'd get somebody, you know, a box of colored pencils or something like that, and you might make it into a house, and you might write some kind of poem about them and those colored pencils. Well, you know, there's always those kids in a class who are really creative and who just go that extra mile. And I can remember 2 of those surprises from the years. The first was a kid in my class whose father was an architect and who was already doing a lot of sort of building. And he built this lockbox that basically had a whole bunch of connectors and locks and things you had to undo and things you had to slide and pop open and unravel and unwrap. The present was inside there. And the box was amazingly intricate for something you're going to unwrap basically and then put to the side. But I actually kept that box for a while because it was really, really well done. And the other one was a present, a surprise, as they were called, a surprise, a surprise, that was given to me by a boy in my class who recognized the struggles, difficulties I'd had as an American in a Dutch school. That was not always easy. Dutch is not my first language, obviously. Stranger in a strange land. And what this kid did was he took a traditional Dutch wooden shoe and he made it into a sailboat with a mast and a sail, and then the stay lines he had decorated with alternating Dutch and American flags. And I can't remember what the present itself was, but I held on to that boat until I left home for college. A very, very meaningful gift, and just one of those great ideas, friendly, and just right on the money. Oh, you could still hear this just rasping through. You know, a little nick there. Every time you talk and you shave, you're gonna get cut. I think Paul was very smart in that straight shave to talk less, shave more. I've also found with this razor that even though this is a brand new blade, this is still a really nice smooth shave. Can't fool around with the lather in this thing. Okay. Well, that was 3 pretty quick passes. Don't worry about that little nick there. That's not bad. I like that razor quite a bit. All right, I'm gonna rinse off. Yeah, I'm very happy with that purchase, actually. I'm really enjoying the Vitos pre-shave. I'd asked Svein if he was using it as an aftershave, a post-shave balm. It says on the bottle, "Pri e dopo barba," but I have tried it once or twice as a post-shave. I don't really think it works super well. It's not, I don't think, really designed as a balm that sort of soaks in and rehydrates. It's, as you saw in the beginning, it sort of goes on, leaves a bit of a white film. You would really need to work that in, and the one time I did, I just wasn't crazy about how that felt. All right. Finish this off with a little bit of Floyd Suave. As for the razor, I'm very happy I bought that. I bought it basically because I thought an open comb looks cool, old school. No idea about how aggressive or how easy it would be to shave with it. It is definitely more aggressive than the other razors I normally use, but I have to say, if you take it slow with that razor, take it slow, build up a really good lather, and keep your lather going. Very impressed with how close those shaves have been, and pretty easy. I'm getting definitely more accustomed to the angle and to the weight, you know, the pressure you need to use. Really keep the pressure light, let it glide over your face, don't press down. Otherwise, yep, very nice shave in that regard. The cream samples, I have to agree with Dustin Gulley. That Figaro is almost too hard to lather, just too finicky. The Habana does lather really well. If you're face lathering, I think you need to keep reapplying it, at least I do. You can't get enough loaded off your face onto the brush for subsequent passes to really be good and slick, particularly with that RazoRock Jaws. You know, I think if you're going to go for some kind of cream like that, you may also want to go back and try the Godrich creams. Those do have lanolin in them. They are super easy to lather, and if the Figaro is cheap but finicky, maybe try the Godrich the rich foam, or the classic. I think there's a lime and a menthol as well. That might be a really good alternative to the Figaro. The Habana, I think if you're bowl lathering, probably lathers up like a fiend. For face lathering, I don't think that's going to work out in the end. But certainly not a bad cream by any stretch, really quite nice. So Dustin, thank you again for those samples, really good. I'm glad to see that there are others purchasing these RazoRock razors. I was able to get a twist to open for Carl Fadig as well. I hope he's enjoying that. As always, guys, hang in there. Keep your shaves nice and smooth. Breathe deep. Hope you're all having a great time, and I will see you next week, hopefully for another shave video. Bye, everybody.